Are you working? What kind of work do you do?
I'm going to talk to you about some things that I've learned in my journey. Most from experience, some of them I heard in passing, many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true.
You're listening to Grit and Gain, the podcast for young professionals hungry for success. Join Marco Velasquez as he unpacks over 2 decades of climbing the corporate ladder, sharing lessons, tips, and strategies to help you accelerate your career.
Welcome to Grit and Gain, where your decision to tune in is an investment in your career, because true success comes from embracing the grit, doing the hard work, and earning the reward. Today's conversation is special because it features a lesson from one of my teammates, Nikki. A heartfelt thank you to Nikki for the recommendation. It's truly a great one. And I'm grateful for all the feedback. And as always, if you have a suggestion for a future episode, feel free to reach out by visiting gritandgain.com or emailing gritandgainhq@gmail.com. Nikki, again, thank you so much. Today we'll explore a fundamental yet often overlooked theme in the workplace: treating each other with respect, with kindness, and with consideration. And we frequently hear those words, but what do they really mean in our daily interactions? More importantly, how does the way we treat one another influence not just our own work, but the entire team and organization? If you've ever been part of a team with strong bonds, you know the power of shared respect. It's energizing, motivating, and creates a safe space where people feel encouraged to contribute and grow. On the other hand, we've all likely experienced environments where a lack of respect can lead to fractured relationships, to separation, and to low morale. In these spaces, even simple tasks can feel like a chore, and people become reluctant to collaborate. Today, we're going to dive into why kindness and respect aren't just nice to have values, but essential tools for you to thrive together. So let's get into it. Number one, let's talk about the foundation of respect and why it matters. Respect is more than just polite words or surface-level courtesy. It's a fundamental acknowledgement of each other's worth, skills, and contributions. When we respect our colleagues, we're saying, I see your value and I recognize your role in our shared success. This kind of acknowledgement lays the groundwork for a positive environment where people feel valued. But why does this matter so much? Respect impacts everything, from our communication to our willingness to collaborate. It's the baseline that tells us that we're in this together, not competing against one another. When respect is in place, people are more inclined to share ideas, take initiative, and step up to support one another. It creates a sense of safety and of camaraderie. Number two, kindness and consideration. These are small actions with big impact. Kindness might sound simple, but its impact, it's profound. A small act like genuinely listening, offering a word of encouragement, or helping someone with a project can go a long way in building trust. And it's not just about being friendly. It's about creating an environment where people feel supported. Think of a team you've enjoyed working with. Chances are that team practiced kindness and consideration. People pitched in without being asked, lifted each other up, and celebrated each other's wins. This creates a cycle where kindness becomes contagious, and a supportive culture begins to grow. In contrast, when people treat each other with impatience, disregard, or negativity, it creates a culture of stress and resentment, breaking bonds and diminishing morale. Let's consider an example. Imagine a new hire on a team where members are consistently kind and supportive. They'll likely feel welcome, which boosts their confidence and motivates them to give their best. But in a team that's cold or unhelpful, that same person might feel isolated, making them feel less likely to engage or contribute fully. Now let's talk about breaking bonds, the cost of disrespect and negativity. I want to talk about what happens when respect and kindness are absent. When bonds break, they don't just affect the individuals directly involved, they ripple out to the whole team. Disrespect, exclusion, or constant negativity can create a sense of division, where people become reluctant to work with each other. When bonds break, trust erodes and people become more guarded. When morale is low, productivity and engagement drop, and creativity suffers. A team's potential to innovate and collaborate is hindered by invisible walls built on misunderstandings and unresolved tensions. And here's the kicker. It can take weeks, even months, to rebuild a culture of trust once it's been damaged. The cost of disrespect is high, not only for the people involved, but for the organization's overall success. So, if that's the case, let's talk about how to create a culture of respect and kindness. How do we do this? How do we build and maintain bonds through respect and kindness? Well, here are a few key steps. Number 1, start with intentional communication. Make a conscious effort to listen, acknowledge, and appreciate others' input. Ask questions to understand different perspectives and communicate in a way that's clear and considerate. Number 2, lead by example. Whether you're a manager or a team member, you have the power to set the tone. Show kindness even in high-pressure situations and demonstrate respect in every interaction. Number 3, celebrate wins together. Recognize each other's achievements. This doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as acknowledging someone's work in a meeting or sending a quick note of appreciation. Finally, address issues directly with empathy. Conflicts happen, but how you handle them can either strengthen or weaken bonds. Approach issues with empathy and focus on finding solutions rather than placing blame. Ultimately, respect and kindness are everyone's responsibility. It's easy to get wrapped up in our own deadlines and projects, but a positive work culture requires each of us to look beyond ourselves. Imagine a workplace where each person commits to these values, where every interaction is an opportunity to build up rather than to tear down. When we treat each other with respect and kindness, we create a culture where people feel valued, motivated, and engaged. This is the kind of culture where people can do their best work, collaborate freely, and even enjoy coming to work together. And isn't that what we all really want? A place where we don't just get by, but where we genuinely thrive together? So as we wrap today's episode of Grit and Gain, I encourage you to think about how you can bring more kindness, respect, and consideration into your work. It doesn't take much. A word of encouragement, a moment of active listening, a simple thank you. But it can make all the difference in the bonds we share and in the environment that we create. Remember, thriving together begins with each of us doing our part to foster a culture of respect and kindness. When we build each other up, we all move forward. So let's continue to create workplaces where everyone feels valued, supported, and empowered to thrive.
Thanks for tuning in to Grit and Gain. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate the podcast and share it with a friend or a colleague who's looking to grow their career. For more ways to fuel your career, visit gritandgain.com. And don't forget to email your questions or suggestions to gritandgainhq@gmail.com. Keep pushing forward. Embody the grit, earn the gain.